So we talk now and we say, where do the Clippers go from here? Where do they go from here? Like, what do they do? Like what's the process? What's the mindset? And the mindset now is just focus on next game. That's the way I see it. That's the only way I think you should look at it. As fans, as, the media, anybody, the Clippers just have to take it one game at a time now. You're down 3-1. That's the way it is. There's no changing it. And the fact you can't change it, you have to deal with it. We can sit and talk about last night's game like I did, after the game on my last night's video. It was so much that went into why the Clippers lost. It's a multitude of things. It was fatigue. Definitely being tired. You could tell a lot of them were gassed. Reggie Jackson, some of those shots, Reggie Jackson hits those shots in his sleep. Some of the shots he missed. Same for PG and everybody else, Marcus Morris, anybody, they hit those shots in their sleep. Usually they make those threes. And last night was one of those games where, the three wasn't falling and, the Clippers weren't in rhythm. And, at some point you had to sit there and wonder, when was it going to come to that? When was it going to come to the fact that the Clippers might not be in rhythm one of those games? Because it's definitely possible, and it was definitely something to, keep an eye on, because, of course, Reggie Jackson and the rest of them and PG, they can't be hot every game from three. But at the same time, knowing the severity of this game and knowing how much magnitude it held in regards to this was your chance to tie the series going back to Phoenix with a tie series, giving yourself an opportunity to take the lead going back to Phoenix rather than being down 3-1 going to Phoenix, now facing elimination. And, of course, the Clippers know this. Of course, the organization knows it. But, looking at last night's game, one thing I didn't speak about in my last night's video, when Paul George did miss that free throw, which I'm not too big on myself, because there was a lot of other things that went wrong in the game, for the Clippers offensively. But if you go back and look at that, Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, the look he had on his face, or should I say how he had his head down when Paul George missed that free throw, really told it all. It really did, and it almost was a situation of where, man, here we go again. We're in position to beat this team, but we're doing the little things. We're making those little things are turning into big things, which is really big mistakes, which is really big mishaps that's going to hold us from beating this team. And if you think about it, that's exactly what happened. It was little things like that came back, to haunt the Clippers. And, we can sit here and say about the defense and they didn't play, they played good defense, and all that stuff. They just didn't play, some people might say they didn't play the right defense at the right time. They could have held the Suns a little bit more. But honestly, they played good enough defense to win that game. They really did, because, it was a low scoring game. The score was 84-80. You couldn't ask for the game in a better position than it was for the Clippers, because you held the Phoenix Suns, a team who scores 108, 10-plus points a game, to 84 points. And to me, if you hold a team like that to 84 points in your house, you should win. That's just my opinion. Holding them 84 points at their house might be different, but holding them 84 points in L.A. in your house, you should be able to take that victory. You should be able to win. But, when Paul George is fatigued and missing a lot of shots, can't get a shot going, missing shots back-to-back. Reggie Jackson, making some big shots, but also missing some that I thought he usually makes. Marcus Morris really didn't have much of an impact. Nobody on the Clippers seemed to really have that impact. In a lot of games that they had in the previous series when they were down 0-2, somebody always just made that impact. And it was always somebody from, one of the other guys, not PG and Kawhi Leonard. It was always one of the other guys that made an impact. Like Reggie Jackson was the guy making the impact, as the third guy when Kawhi and PG was playing, together and everything, but now it's like you're putting more onus on Reggie Jackson. You're putting more on Paul George. So now their life is a little bit harder because they're asked to do more, in which they're not used to because they're actually used to Kawhi being there, handling a lot of that other load because he's the best player on the team. And I definitely get it, but, like I said before, everybody's tired, everybody's injured, but you got to find a way to win a game like this. You really do. Because if you don't win a game like this, I mean, you're really putting yourself in a rut because now you're going back to Phoenix with them up with all the momentum, and they beat you on your home court, and they didn't even play half as good as they would have liked to. Neither did you, but they got the victory and you didn't. And that's all that makes all the world difference. And, it's sad because, all the Clippers work for might be coming to an end Monday because, they're missing their main guy. And at some point, that's what it comes down to. You got to have your main pieces there. And, a game like this, I know Kawhi Leonard would have helped them win this game. I know he would have. But wishing on him to be there is not good because he's not there. And, there's nothing you can do about that. But at the same time, the Clippers just got to go into the next game and take the approach, as they always did. Carry every game like it's a game 7. Because now every game literally is a game 7. And there's really no way to look at it, except that way. But they're a resilient group. Like I said, they'll be ready to go. And we'll see what challenge they present to the Suns this next go round on Monday. And hopefully it's a good enough challenge to, so they can survive a little bit longer. But we'll see how it goes. And it's a tough task now. Like I said, hey, it was a tough loss. It really was because, they're a really good team, man. And the way they fought throughout these playoffs, I think they earned a lot of people respect. I think they earned a lot. Even the naysayers, the ones who don't even believe in the Clippers or never liked them or anything like that, I feel like the Clippers have earned a lot of people's respect, as far as media people and everything, fans and everything, because how they came in these playoffs and played from behind every series and found themselves on top was amazing. But at some point, I guess that just has to come to an end. And I'm not saying it's over because, like I said, it ain't over till it's over. So until Phoenix win 4 games, that's when it's over. But, the Clippers just have to take this one, swallow it, and don't worry about it, and just move on to the next and try to make better adjustments and, try to be more prepared for that game, more prepared for that one than you were this one. And those shots that were not falling, maybe they'll fall next game. Because if they do fall next game, well, game 6 might be back in L.A. And then, we'll see what happens from there. But, hey, it's just one of those type things. Nothing the Clippers can do about it now. But the only thing we could do is, wish they made the right plays and wish they played better. Because, it's nothing else could be done now except to move on to the next. And hopefully they extend the series a little bit longer with the possibility, of maybe Kawhi returning or who knows. I'm not sure where he is with that knee injury, but it's not looking good. And it's not looking good for the Clippers as a team also, so, but we'll see how it goes and we'll see exactly what pans out. Shout out to the Suns. They made they won and, good for them. But like I said, it's still another game to go. So no need to hold your head down or anything like that. You just got to keep it going. Got to keep it, keep it moving, because you can't let the Clippers, one thing they can't do is let this last game bother them where it interferes with their mindset going into the next game. That's the one thing they can't do. And in order for that not to happen, you got to set up a game plan for the next one, and you have to, move forward with it mentally. And I know it stings because now you're down 3-1. You've never been down 3-1 with you never been down 3-1 without your superstar anyway. You know what I'm saying? So now they're really in a hole where they don't have their best player, and it looks like everything is just going well for the Suns. At least that's the way it seems, but that's okay. It is what it is. Take it to the next game, see what happens. At least you didn't get swept like some people might have thought that would have happened. And, the Clippers put up a good fight. It just goes to show you got to have your best player at some point. Because if you think about it, going against Phoenix, they got their 3 best players. DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker. Whether one of them struggle, the other one doesn't. And then their role players are good too. So, sometimes it comes down to having your main players. And PG is a main player, but he's a number 2. He's not the number 1. And even though he's the number 2, he still can carry a lot of weight. But it's just that without Kawhi Leonard, a lot of his weaknesses and a lot of the Clippers' weaknesses show a little bit more. And is a little bit more glaring to teams. And that's exactly what the Phoenix Suns are doing. They're just exploiting the weaknesses that are glaring to them. Because now they know, the Clippers got Patrick Beverley who can stop Devin Booker some, but they don't have Kawhi Leonard who will be able to neutralize Chris Paul some, or Cameron Payne some, or maybe